So, my mobile app is currently pulling in about $40,000 a month in recurring revenue. Honestly, I don't think you need any prior experience to build mobile apps, because, to be real, I didn't have any when I started. How does someone build a $40,000 per month mobile app without coding knowledge? It's all about an unconventional approach to getting things done. Shipping and marketing, that's seriously like 95% of what makes an app successful. Steven started out as a pretty typical online entrepreneur, trying out different business models without much luck. But one day, he came across mobile apps and immediately saw the potential. Not a lot of people are diving into mobile apps right now, and honestly, it's a lot easier to get started than you might think. So I got in touch with Steven to learn about his journey and how someone can start building profitable apps from scratch. He shared his entire process, how to come up with and validate an idea, how to create an app without any technical know-how, and how to market and monetize it. Let's dive into it. So far, my apps have hit over 12 million downloads in total. Right now, I'm working on an app called Puff Count, which is pulling in $40,000 a month in recurring revenue. To give you an idea, here's a look at the numbers. In the last 30 days, Puff Count brought in $43,000 in sales. And over the past 90 days, we've done just over $112,000. Before we dive into how to start building apps, let's talk about what makes this business model so appealing. With apps, the scale is practically unlimited. You can reach anyone on the planet, and the best part, you only have to build it once, but you can sell it over and over again. That's something unique compared to most other businesses. It's also way easier to get into than people think. With no-code tools and platforms like Upwork, you can have an app up and running in less than a month. Plus, there are templates available online, so you don't even have to start from scratch anymore. The biggest misconception out there is that building apps is hard, and because of that, not a lot of people are diving into this space right now. It's still wide open. And honestly, you don't need any prior experience to do this. I didn't. I don't design anything. I don't do the coding. All I do is come up with the idea and put together a team to bring it to life. If you're motivated and willing to learn, you can make it happen. And the key is not to give up on your idea. Got it? Cool. Let's talk about how you can actually create something like this, step by step. Everything starts with an idea, right? So, how do you come up with one? For me, I make mental notes of the problems I face in my daily life. When you build an app to solve a problem you personally experience, you're in a great position. You become the ideal user. That means you can create a product that's genuinely helpful and better suited for the people you're trying to reach. If you can solve a real problem for someone, especially one that leads to some kind of transformation, like helping with weight loss, dieting, quitting vaping, or anything that improves their life, they're going to connect with your product. Plus, the marketing becomes much easier because you can say, hey, you're dealing with this specific problem, here's the solution. Steven is a great example of someone with zero experience who turned a simple idea into thousands of dollars a month. It all came down to identifying the right problem and knowing how to solve it effectively. Starter Story is like a treasure trove of over 4,000 case studies and business idea breakdowns, all backed by real data from actual entrepreneurs. If you're serious about building a profitable side project, check out the first link below. You'll get access to 52 micro SaaS ideas, similar to Steven's, to help you start your journey today. Now, let's say you found a problem worth solving. What's next? How do you figure out if your app idea is actually worth pursuing? For me, it's all about validation. I started with market research. I used tools like Sensor Tower to check out similar apps, like ones for quitting smoking or vaping, and saw they were doing really well. Then, I looked at Google Trends and noticed that vaping was on the rise. But the real game changer? TikTok. I saw that vape-related videos were going viral there, which showed me there was serious interest in this niche. Here's the thing, though. A lot of young entrepreneurs give up too quickly. If you've got a solid idea that solves a real problem, you need to stick with it. When I started Puff Count, I didn't make any money for the first 4 to 6 months, but I stayed focused and refined the marketing. And honestly, marketing is 90% of the battle when it comes to being successful and validating an idea. We'll get to marketing later, but let's focus on building the app for now. Once your idea is locked in, here's what I do next. I brain dump everything. I open up Google Docs and jot down all the ideas, features, and thoughts I have about the app. I also list competitors and write out what I think the app should do. From there, I grab a piece of paper and a pencil and sketch out the app. It doesn't have to be fancy, it's just to get the concept on paper. When you're researching competitors, take note of everything: their features, how they onboard users, and their UI. This gives you a solid idea of what works and what a great app looks like. Next, I take those sketches and upload them to a site like 99 Designs. You just share your sketches, explain the app concept and features, and let designers bring your vision to life. You'll get submissions from 50, 60, sometimes even 70 professional UI designers, all showing their take on your app. That's how I've created the UI for all of my apps. So, what about turning that design into a working app if you don't know how to code? Simple. You go to Upwork and find a developer. You can negotiate pricing based on how complex your app is. For something like puff count, which is relatively straightforward, it's pretty manageable. For apps with just a few main features, you can get an MVP, minimum viable product, built for less than $5,000. In fact, if you keep things really simple, you could do it for under $1,000. Websites like ThemeForest offer solid starter templates for almost any type of app, so you don't have to start from scratch. Just remember, the simpler your app, the better, especially if you're working with a tighter budget. When hiring developers, I personally recommend looking at talent from Eastern Europe. You'll often get excellent quality at a more affordable price. Once you've found a developer you want to work with, I suggest setting up a project-based payment structure. I never pay hourly. Instead, I pay only after the app is complete, live on the store, and bug-free. This ensures the work gets done and meets expectations. Now, what about the fear of a developer stealing your idea? Honestly, that's never been an issue for me, and here's the thing. Your idea on its own isn't worth much. Chances are the app idea you have already exists in some form. What matters is execution, and you just need to trust someone to help bring it to life. To build that trust, I always schedule a quick 15-minute interview with developers I'm interested in. During the call, I look for their vibe. Are they bringing fresh ideas to the table? Do they seem genuinely excited about the project? How do they present themselves? Those little details matter, and they'll help you find the right person. At the end of the day, you have to push past the fear of hiring someone online. It's part of the process. Part of being a founder is finding great talent, trusting them, and adjusting as you go. Now let's talk about the big topic, marketing. Here's the deal. Marketing is 95% of a mobile app's success, and TikTok is hands down the best platform to promote any app right now. The key to succeeding on TikTok? Knowing how to do market research. That's exactly what I did. I searched vaping on TikTok and saved all the most viral videos I could find. I organized them into a spreadsheet to analyze them. What was the hook? What was the value? How was the content shot? For example, there was a video with 8.3 million views that drove tens of thousands of downloads for puff count. I also noticed another viral clip with over 20 million views where someone was taking apart a vape. That inspired me to make a similar video showing exactly what's inside a vape, and then at the end, bam, a quick call to action. Here's where a lot of people mess up. They make their entire video about their product, talking about features and other details, and it ends up looking like a sales pitch. That kind of content doesn't work on TikTok. Nobody wants to watch a straight-up ad. Instead, I make my TikToks entertainment first, with the call to action at the very end. It's quick, just a couple of seconds, but it gets the job done without making the video feel like a hard sell. Organic TikTok is definitely the bread and butter when it comes to marketing mobile apps, but there are other channels that can work too. The great thing about organic TikTok videos is that if one performs well organically, it's a solid indicator that it'll work for paid ads too. All you have to do is take that same video, run it as a paid ad, and let the platform do its thing. Whether it's Facebook ads, TikTok ads, or whatever, the algorithms will optimize around good creative and bring you customers. Another approach is working with influencers. You can pay them to create content for you, but honestly, it can be hit or miss. Influencers often ask for a lot of money and don't really care how the video performs for your app. That said, if you find those rare creators who are passionate and affordable, you can get some great content to use for scaling. Now, let's talk about the next step in building a mobile app, monetization. How do you turn all that attention into paying customers? There are several ways to monetize. In my early games, I relied on ads since people were spending a lot of time in the app. For games, ads work well because users spend a lot of time playing, so there's plenty of opportunity to show ads. But for tool-focused apps like puff count, ads aren't as effective since users aren't expected to stay in the app for long periods. Instead, the best way to monetize these types of apps is through in-app purchases, getting users to either buy the app outright or commit to a subscription, monthly, yearly, or even weekly. The most common strategy now is to make the app free to download. Users go through the onboarding process and then hit what's called a hard paywall. This is an unskippable screen that asks users to pay to access the app's features. When I switched puff count to a hard paywall that required users to start a free trial before accessing any features, it completely transformed my business. My conversion rate skyrocketed to 20–25%. So what about pricing? How do you figure out the best price point for your app? I used A/B testing to experiment with different price points. I started at $4 and tested all the way up to $12. With a steady flow of users, you gather valuable data to determine which price gives you the highest lifetime value, LTV. I also use a tool called Superwall for this. It allows you to remotely configure your paywalls and change prices without needing to push updates through the App Store. This makes it much easier and faster to test different strategies. Superwall makes it easy to quickly identify which price point gives you the highest lifetime value, LTV, so I always optimize for that. The goal is to find the sweet spot where users are willing to pay and your revenue grows. Now, you mentioned the onboarding process before the paywall. What's my experience with that? Onboarding is critical. It's your chance to guide the user through their own problem. For Puff Count, my onboarding is pretty detailed. I ask users a lot of questions, and while some might find it annoying and just want to dive into the app, the data shows otherwise. By taking users through this process, they spend time thinking about the problem the app solves. So by the time they hit the paywall, they've already internalized their need for the solution. For example, they've thought, wow, I really do need to quit vaping, and are far more likely to convert. Now let's get technical. What tools and software do I use to build these apps? My tech stack is simple. Upwork, to find and hire developers. 99 Designs, to get the UI designed. Superwall, to A/B test and optimize paywalls. This is a key part of making money with an app. Paywall optimization is everything. Using Superwall to optimize your paywalls and find the highest lifetime value, LTV, is absolutely essential. Anyone with a mobile app should be using it. On top of that, I rely on RevenueCat for analytics. It's great for tracking user LTV, which is arguably the most important metric for your app. Knowing how much your paying users generate over their lifetime helps you determine how much you can spend on paid ads, influencers, or app installs. As long as your customer acquisition cost, CAC, is lower than your LTV, you're in the green. For my mobile measurement partner, MMP, I use Apps Flyer. It integrates with my app and connects data to platforms like Facebook and TikTok ads, making it easier to optimize campaigns. I run traffic through TikTok and Facebook ads, and for deeper insights into user behavior, I use Mixpanel and Amplitude. These tools let me see what users are doing in the app, whether it's exploring features or converting to paid users. A quick tip: stick to the free plans for Mixpanel and Amplitude. They provide all the data you need without paying for premium. Use them to get your insights, figure out what needs improving, and then move on. Now, for anyone looking for app ideas, what's the most lucrative niche to build in right now? When I analyze the most profitable niches in mobile apps, a lot of them. The most profitable niches right now tend to focus on helping people improve their lives. Losing weight, quitting vaping, quitting drinking, anything in the health and wellness space is huge. Apps in fitness, for example, are already thriving. Think of MyFitnessPal or weight training apps. But here's the thing, it all comes down to marketing. Can you reach users at a lower cost than these big, established apps? That's where being a young, agile founder gives you a real edge. A lot of the major players in the industry are big, slow-moving companies that don't iterate on their ideas quickly. As a smaller, more nimble entrepreneur, you can outmaneuver them. Sometimes all it takes is one viral TikTok to make a huge impact. Now, for anyone watching this who has tried launching something before but didn't see immediate results and ended up quitting, here's my advice. The struggle is part of the process. Building something new is never perfect on the first try. But I've done this enough times now to know it's all about iteration. If I believe in the idea and know it has the potential to make money, that's all I need. I don't expect instant success. I just look for validation that the idea resonates, and then I take it to the market. From there, it's about talking to customers, improving the product, and building momentum over time. Puff Count has been live for 4 years, but I only started seeing consistent, decent revenue in the last 6 or 7 months. It takes time, commitment, and a willingness to keep learning and adapting. Now let's talk about what a day in the life looks like for a mobile app builder like me. Right now I'm nomading. I've been traveling for about 6 months, mostly in Europe. My day usually starts late, around 1 p.m., when I hop on calls and start working with my team. Mornings are for me. I'll make some coffee, hit the gym, get a good workout in, and then shift into work mode. Once I'm in the zone, it's all about building, talking to my team, taking sales calls, and handling whatever needs to get done. I'll usually work until 7, 8, or even 9 p.m., sometimes much later, depending on the workload. On weekends, I get to explore a new city, immerse myself in a different culture, meet people, and try new things. It's inspiring, and that's why I love this lifestyle. Inspiration is fleeting, so when you feel it, whether it's to build an app, launch a project, or work hard, you have to seize it. That's part of why I decided to travel and work this way. It lets me lock in and focus when the inspiration hits, without distractions. All right, last question. If you could go back and give advice to young Steven, if I could give advice to my younger self, or to anyone wanting to make it in the online business world, it would be this. It's not as hard as you think. You just need to stay driven and be willing to work with people who have the skills you don't. Outsource what you're not great at, build a team you trust, and treat them well. Don't give up on your idea too early. It can take months, sometimes even years, for a project to gain traction. Keep talking to your users, gather feedback, and make data-driven improvements. One mistake I see first-time app founders make is spending months on a random feature they think is cool before even launching their MVP. Don't do that. Go to market with something simple, affordable, and functional. Get real feedback from users and then build on top of it with your team. Thanks so much, Stephen, for sharing your journey and insights. The businesses you've built are incredible, and we really appreciate you taking the time to break it all down. Peace. Yo, guys, I hope you got some great takeaways from this video. At the end of the day, the goal here is to inspire you and show you what's possible so you can start building something of your own. Learning is great and can spark new ideas, but it's action that will actually move the needle forward. So, go out there, research, learn, find an idea, and start building as quickly as you can. If you're feeling stuck, hit that first link in the description for a free list of micro SaaS business ideas to kickstart your side project. Much love, and I'll see you in the next one.